So last week we talked about C2E2 and all the great things. You guys don't know this, but
Like what?
so giving you a little behind the scenes thing. We're recording 2 episodes tonight. One's a regular episode, and one is a C2E2 retrospective. But I have decided that the C2E2 episode is going to be released first. But we're recording this regular episode first. So that's why you guys were like, what?
I was real confused.
So, last week we talked about C2E2 and all of the great things about it and how much we love it and all this and that. However, like everything in life, nothing is perfect. So what is your least favorite thing about C2E2? Tabitha, this was your idea, so let's start with you.
I'm currently filling out my C2E2 survey. C2E2, if you're there and you're listening, if you're there and you're listening, I swear to all that is holy, if that hammer bell game is in the yard next year, I will dismantle it with my bare hands, and I will insert a piece of it everywhere I can find, on anyone I can find. I felt like I was suffering from PTSD in Vietnam. I wasn't even alive when Vietnam happened. Make it go away. Okay, thanks, bye. Love you otherwise.
I think for me, and this is...
Still twitching about it.
I hate it.
This is probably something that we've talked about before. And I realize at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen. But Artist Alley. Like, they have done a better job in the last few years, especially like the aisles with some of the more prominent names having more space. I would love for all of that space to be in all the aisles.
Yep.
Especially Saturday. I think I've realized that I should just not go into Artist Alley at all on Saturdays unless we are explicitly going there for an interview. Otherwise, I should just avoid it. Yeah, it was there was definitely a lot of backups and traffic jams, and I wanted to scream at the tippy top of my lungs. Matt.
Yeah, Friday and Sunday were the better times for Artist Alley. We actually commented about that as well, that there was in the past years they have done that. They put the bigger names on those wider aisles. Didn't quite do such a good job on that this year, but they had a couple of wider aisles. Least favorite thing, not that I participated last year, but I was disappointed to not see Funko back this year. I thought that maybe, I know last year was like the anniversary year, but I thought maybe that was like a beginning of a partnership and we'd get to see them every year, kind of like that they're at New York and Emerald City and, San Diego. Apparently that wasn't the case because they just non-existent, which was a little disappointing. Like I said, I didn't participate last year. I think it would have depended on the exclusives, but I was disappointed to not see them back this year.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, I was gonna say something smart, and it didn't happen. You're listening to The Geek Awakens with Mitch,
Matt,
Tabitha,
and Lydia.
All right, let's jump straight into the pull list. What's on our pull list this week? And the first book we're going to talk about is Hey Mary. It's out now from Oni Press, written by Andrew Wheeler with art by Hickman. Mark is a Catholic teenager and big into religion. However, when he realizes he has a crush on another boy, he has to reconcile his feelings with his faith, his shame, and his fear of how his parents will react. I am a little over halfway done with this book, and I know I've said this multiple times about how, like, oh, I'm probably going to finish this after we're done recording. And then guess what? I never do. However, I need to finish this book. It is so well done. Andrew Wheeler, I definitely know that I've read some other of his books. I cannot remember off the top of my head what I've read, but that was definitely, when I saw this book, I instantly recognized that name. But it's such a well done story. And yes, obviously, this is about this, baby gay coming to terms with, his sexuality and how that, is at odds with everything else he's known. But it's also, like, it's a coming of age story in general. You can take these themes and apply it to, like, other growing up instances, I guess. I am very interested to see where things go with, is it Luca?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm very interested to see where things go there. And one thing, too, that's really, really fun with this book is that Mark has all these conversations with religious, like, figures, I guess. Like, Joan of Arc is one. And I'm blanking on some others. But yeah, no, I really like this book. Tabitha, I was kind of worried when getting into this. I was like, I don't know if Tabitha can survive this. So what'd you think?
Tabitha not only survived this, Tabitha thrived with this. I think this should be required reading for anyone who has a very strong religious background and is questioning themselves. I think this should be required reading for anybody who has a child that has come out to them when the parents have a really strict religious upbringing or background. I think this should be required reading for pretty much every single person that's ever walked the earth that has some kind of religious background but is questioning themselves and their worthiness in the eyes of their religion. This was fantastically done. It was funny. It was heartwarming. The art was stunning. The characters were very well developed. It had some highly quotable moments. I almost cried like 3 times reading through this. I will read this again and maybe again. It had historical fact in there. It introduced me to some facts that I didn't know, so of course I'm spending like 5 minutes Googling them. Shut up, you guys. There are things I don't know.
I said nothing.
I know, but I saw the look.
It was a look. I was honestly trying to clear my throat.
There are things I don't know. I don't like to admit that always, but sometimes I don't know things. So it was educational. It was informative. It was funny. I screenshot a whole thing that says the Bible is like a purse. You can take out of it whatever you put into it, but reading is fundamental. Like, this is just so good. Like, I never put things we read for the podcast on like my Goodreads or like my like books that I've read for the year. I immediately put this on there about halfway through. 5 stars. Wonderful. If you're listening to this and you haven't read it, just go read it.
Matt.
I am about 3/4 of the way through this, and I am really enjoying this. I think the biggest thing for me is the mix of the historical fact and the fictional story of the characters is so well put together and so well balanced. There's a lot of historical information, but none of it feels like an info dump. Everything is related to the conversation at hand, or the characters, or a particular situation that is key at that exact moment. It's wonderfully done. It's fantastic. Mitch, I'm like you that a lot of times I do say that I'm going to go back and finish this, but I am less than 25 pages from the end of this, and I will finish this because above and beyond enjoying this, I am invested in Mark and Luca's characters and their friendship and possibly more, and I want to see how that comes through at the end.
One thing that I completely forgot, there are some really fun Easter eggs in this book, and I'm going to point out one. Happens pretty early on. I don't remember who Mark is, like, quote-unquote talking to, but he's talking about, like, the person he's talking to is telling him how, you know, so many famous people in our history, especially like Renaissance artists, were queer. Mm-hmm. And this person even says, you know, like 3 out of the 4 Ninja Turtles were gay. And in the forefront, there are 3 turtles. One has a red stripe, one has an orange stripe, and one has a purple stripe. And I lost it.
See, I didn't even notice that because I was like, what a clever way to talk about, like, the Renaissance artists.
Oh, yeah. I 100% caught the turtles in the foreground.
So the other book we're going to talk about is Station Grand, also out now from Oni Press, written by Craig Hurd-McKenney, with art by Noah Bailey. Dr. Michael Kinney is light years from Earth, with a computer as his only companion. For the 272-day-long mission, he has no contact with mission control. His insomnia peaks during this time, leading him to question everything. Matt, we'll start with you this time.
This was great. I really enjoyed in a lot of ways, it kind of felt a little bit like The Martian, but in a space setting and without him worrying about trying to grow potatoes from poop. But like the sleep deprivation that he undergoes and like feeling like he's going crazy, the less sleep that he gets, and triggering the computer to wake him up at certain times so that he can kind of catch this sleep paralysis demon that's, you know, coming after him as he has more and more problems with his sleep, is wonderful. The main story in this I really enjoyed. I liked the panels on how some of them were almost split. Like everything is 6 panels, but some of them form a whole page. Some of them are split into like thirds. The way that was done was, I thought that was clever, without like detracting from the art. The only thing I did not like was whatever that second story was at the end. Right. Trying to follow the bubbles and the words and the plot for that second part just about drove me crazy. Because like there's black, there's gray, and then there's white for like the words in each of the squares, and I couldn't figure out the order in which to read them. So I don't know that I understood what was happening in that second part.
So I am not very far into this book. I have not even met the sleep paralysis demon yet, and I am glad that I know that so that I don't read this before bed. Sleep paralysis is one of my top 5 most hated experiences. Thank God, knocking on wood, like I've only had it happen to me like 2, maybe 3 times, but that shit is so fucking scary. That said, like I said, I'm not super far into it. I do like how this is being set up, though. Michael, I kind of already am relating to Michael, where in the beginning, I don't remember the name of the person that he's talking to, but like she's said how, like, oh, well, I've already done like the ship's log or whatever. And he's like, I'm going to do it.
He's not even talking to her. That's a recording from her time at the station.
Spoilers?
But you're through it. You should have picked up on that.
Oh, no, I
Yeah.
sure didn't.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like her video log.
Yeah.
That he's also kind of making as he goes along. But that's her final report to him as he takes over.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she's like, I did this. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do it again, because he doesn't believe that she did it right.
Yeah, but in general, like,
sorry,
not even necessarily I don't believe that you did it right, but it's just kind of like I am still also going to do this because of who I am as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I had to actually, I didn't have to, but like I send out a email at work basically saying the same thing, like without getting into specifics, like somebody sent me an email like saying, hey, I need this and this and this done, but if it's easier I can do this. And I'm like, I appreciate it, however, whether it's my paranoia or my need for control, this is why I want to do it. So there's that. Tabitha, what'd you think?
I had more religious trauma problems with this one than I did with the other one, because slight spoiler for you, Mitch, the sleep paralysis demon is his priest from his childhood. And as someone who spent the majority of their life thinking they were going to burn in hell for one reason or another, those reasons were obsessive compulsive disorder for all of you listening. Waking up to like a nun or a priest or like a religious figure in the dark is my biggest fear, because I will assume I have died in my sleep and I have reached my version of hell, which is where all the priests and nuns and pastors and things are. So there were some panels of this that I straight up skipped. I was like, nope. Like my bottom part of my eye could like see it, and then I'm like, nope. And I flip to the next page and kind of like out of the corner of my eye look at the page. Nope. Look, okay. All right. Nope. I read this with like literally like half my eyeballs, because I'm like, I don't want to scare myself, because if I have a dream tonight about like a nun, this is why I don't go to Catholic hospitals, I will be so upset. This was fantastic otherwise. Like, I really liked the art. I really liked the story. It had just enough like quip of humor to it to like kind of lighten the mood. I agree with you though. Whatever that second thing was, I stopped reading it because I could not figure it out. And it was making me feel very dumb. Like, it was beautiful and the illustrations were fun and like the photograph drawing, like it was beautiful.
I couldn't figure out how to read it.
I couldn't either. And I'm like
trying,
bouncing around and like.
Yeah, better luck with manga.
I couldn't, like, I was trying to read just the panels that were the right color, but then I was feeling like I was missing something, and I still don't know if I was reading it right or wrong or whatever, but if the second half of that had not been in there, this would have been like a 5-star read for me.
All right, let's go to Trailer Takedown.
Let's get ready for Trailer Takedown!
And we only have 2 movies to talk about tonight. Life of Chuck versus Thunderbolts. Tabitha, let's start with you.
I think I have probably done enough Marvel detox now, because I quit watching the shows and I quit watching anything about it because I was feeling so overwhelmed with what I needed to watch to get caught up that I just stopped, because task paralysis is real. I will see this, and I will probably enjoy it. I am still mad about Dollar General Captain America's face. It really upsets me, but I'll deal with it. It'll be fine. As for The Life of Chuck, I did not know about this until this evening, and now I'm very excited to watch this, but I will have to watch it from the comfort of my own home, because I cannot watch a movie that is going to make me cry, like I'm sure this is going to make me cry, in public, because I will give myself the hiccups and I will be embarrassed. So I'm giving 6 points to Life of Chuck and 4 points to the Marvel movie whose name I completely forgot.
Thunderbolts.
Thank you. I about said Thundercats, and I knew that wasn't right.
Ho!
Rude.
Thank you for doing that.
So, Thunderbolts. Now, I hope that this doesn't, bring your task paralysis back.
Ugh.
But I feel like Thunderbolts is going to be one of those movies that you will have done better by watching some of the Marvel TV shows, which I have not yet, with a few exceptions. But I'm right there with you. I am excited about this movie. One thing that I didn't like about this trailer, and I don't know if I am over this as a trailer trope in general, or if it's just something that like I did not like with this specific trailer. But I think I'm tired of trailers using popular songs but slowed down and made to be more, thematic or cinematic or whatever. Like, I don't know. When it's good, it's damn good, but like it it did not connect with me. But that said, no, I like this. I'm excited for it. I still need to know what the asterisk is about. But yeah, Life of Chuck, y'all. For those listening at home, I just recently turned 40, and I am having problems with my own mortality and just things like that. And I'm right there with you, Tabitha. I have a feeling this is going to make me ugly cry. So, Tabitha, we can either ugly cry in the comfort of our own homes, or let's just say screw it and ugly cry in the theater.
I don't know if I can do it. My problem is, this is when I ugly cry. I get sobby and like I like that, and then my nose stops up, and in the combination of my nose stopping up and my I get the hiccups, and then I sound like a pterodactyl because we've all heard my hiccups, and they are unfortunate. And I don't want to subject any movie patrons to that, especially during a sad movie. Like, can you imagine it's like a really emotional scene and everyone's crying, and all of a sudden you hear me go and make my weird pterodactyl sound? Like, that would be so upsetting.
Okay, fair. At any rate, I went actually opposite of you. I still gave Thunderbolts 6 points. It definitely lost points because of Under Pressure. But Life of Chuck got 4. Matt.
I'm kind of with Tabitha when it comes to the Marvel burnout. I feel like I might be over it or far enough away from all of it that I might actually see Thunderbolts. In general, the story intrigues me. I don't know if it was just this trailer or if this is how the movie is really going to be, but I like in this trailer how we're leaning on Red Guardian, Yelena, and Winter Soldier. I feel like those are probably the three most popular of the group. Honestly, Red Guardian probably just because David Harbour and Stranger Things, but be that what it is. I almost kind of hope that this is the Yelena movie that we all wanted after seeing her in Hawkeye. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Like I said, it could be the trailer, it could be misleading. I don't know. I am intrigued about the additional information we got on the bad guy for this film. Which, if you're a Marvel fan, you've read any of the rumors and whatever about this movie, I'm intrigued to see this particular character enter the MCU and how that throws things into whack. Or out of whack.
You said that, and I was like,
wait
did
a
he
minute.
say that backwards on purpose?
Yeah, no. No. Your comment about not having seen things and maybe this will key into it. I think that this might be far enough out where the characters that we're getting are far enough back, like Yelena coming from Hawkeye, Winter Soldier, and God help him, the Chin, fake Captain America,
U.S. agent.
Yes, thank you. Being from Falcon and Winter Soldier, those were the ones that we did watch when we didn't have the burnout. So like, know where they come from, how they relate. Maybe that helps. Life of Chuck. I had seen a little bit about this before I watched the trailer. This is Mike Flanagan, who has done incredible horror movies, and Stephen King, who is Stephen King. The thing is, at the beginning of this trailer, they mention Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile and things that are outside the norm for Stephen King, and that seems to be the theme for this. That's what I've heard, is it's very different from what either of these two have done ever. So yes, it's probably going to make everybody cry. I'm thrilled to see Mark Hamill in this, though. I think he's going to be great. I'm scared for being sad of Life of Chuck, so I'm going to go 6 points to Thunderbolts and 4 for Life of Chuck.
I was so worried you were going to go 5 and 5.
Well, I am smart enough, at least in some capacity, to realize that you flip-flopped each other's scores, and if I did 5 and 5, we were completely screwed. So,
and thank you for that, because like it may have been subconsciously, but like I did explicitly say I'm going opposite of you, Tabitha.
As soon as you said that, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna have to decide this.
See, kudos to Matt for paying attention, because I'm usually just like, oh, made up numbers.
I mean, aren't all numbers made up when you think about it?
They are indeed. I do math for a living. They're all made up.
So with a score of 16 to 14, Thunderbolts wins this week's trailer takedown. Let's go to gut reaction.
Ow! Gut reaction.
And I am very sorry for future Mitch when you're editing this, because you already have to throw in the soundbite for the Lin-Manuel Miranda news desk.
Coming to you live from In the Heights, the Lin-Manuel Miranda news desk.
Tabitha, take it away.
So this is Lin-Manuel Miranda news desk adjacent, but Leslie Odom Jr. is going to be returning to Broadway to play Aaron Burr, performing from September 9th through November 23rd. Tickets are on sale now. I'm just going to read his quote because it was kind of beautiful. Returning to Hamilton is a deeply meaningful homecoming. I'm so grateful for the chance to step back into the room, especially during this anniversary moment, and to revisit the brilliant piece that forever changed my life and the lives of so many. It's the 10th anniversary at Richard Rodgers Theater on August 6th, which feels wild to me. It does not feel like 10 years ago that Hamilton came out. Mm-hmm. Like, what is time? I'm giving this a huge thumbs up. Like, what a fun way to celebrate the 10 year. Also, on the 20 year, if they don't resurrect Lin-Manuel Miranda as Alexander Hamilton, not like from the dead, like resurrect his role, reprise his role, not from the dead. I'm not. Somebody give me some salt.
I was like, we have a legitimate news story about Lin-Manuel Miranda now, and you're just skipping over it.
No, I would not be here. I would be in mourning, in my mourning weeds in my house.
All right,
in
Eliza.
all black. Don't tip me with a good time. I'm giving it a thumbs up. This is such a fun and wonderful way to celebrate this, and I'm happy for Leslie Odom Jr.
Matt,
I think it's great that he has the opportunity, the wherewithal, and that the company has the respect to allow him back to do this. Mm-hmm. Even if it is for a shockingly distant 10th anniversary. Thumbs up to him, because that's one of those things, like, I think a lot of times, especially those Broadway ones that become sensations and end up as movies and, play on streaming services. Like once that role is over, the only way to relive that is either to hang out with those actors and actresses again, or to watch yourself. And to be able to go back and do it has got to be super cool for him. So thumbs up.
No, definite thumbs up. Only a shame that we're probably not going to see it. So
It's already sold out, I'm sure.
So you shouldn't have waited for it.
Where's my bell?
It's a foot shame.
It is, because I'm lazy. Foot shame. I'm
Matt,
just going to keep this here.
it's probably for the best. Matt, let's get fixed.
Ew.
He made that joke.
I did indeed. It's my own fault. So a new animated raunchy comedy is coming to Netflix from the creator of Dexter's Laboratory and Samurai Jack, Genndy Tartakovsky. This is called Fixed, and it's about a couple of dogs.
Nope, sorry, that was not intentional.
They are going to be these dogs are going to be voiced by Catherine Hahn and Adam Devine. The series basically is it's a series that features Bull, a quick-witted mutt who finds out that his owner is planning to neuter him after he's caught mounting Grandma's leg. When Bull discovers this, he scrambles to find his pals in the neighborhood so they can have one last untamed all-night adventure, with the end goal of telling the dog next door, Honey, Catherine Hahn's character, that he loves her. I don't know. Genndy Tartakovsky and his cartoons are iconic. I grew up watching a lot of these. For him to do, like an R-rated, like Two Stupid Dogs is almost what this sounds like. I'm here for this. Thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I never watched Samurai Jack. And while Dexter's Lab wasn't a show that I religiously watched, I watched it enough. And you could tell that, yes, this show was made for a younger audience. However, you could probably tell that the creative team really wanted it to also be adult. So to basically be given that opportunity now, I think this is going to be pretty good. So thumbs up. Tabitha.
Same. I did love those shows, so yeah, thumbs up.
So, I'm going to be taking over the next 3 stories. They're all comic book stories, so I figured we'll put them in the middle. I'll put them all together. So, during the Massiveverse panel at C2E2, Radiant Black writer and co-creator Kyle Higgins announced that he's returning to DC and bringing some friends with him. Immortal Legend Batman is an Elseworlds limited series set in the future where humanity has spread out across the galaxy in giant colony vessels and mech suits. When confronted by monsters called the Shadows, 3 warriors tap into energy to become Immortal Legend Batman, Immortal Legend Robin, and Immortal Legend Nightwing. Higgins will team up with artist Dan Mora, along with Infernal Girl Red creative team Matt Groom and Erica D'Urso. Immortal Legend Batman uses elements of superhero tokusatsu. Think Power Rangers. The first issue will come out on August 27th. Giant thumbs up. I have been a Kyle Higgins fanboy for over a decade now, I'm sure. Dan Mora, he is quickly becoming one of my favorite artists. And, Radiant Black, it's, Kyle Higgins himself has said that Radiant Black is kind of like Power Rangers for grown-ups. And Kyle Higgins has also written for Power Rangers. This seems to be right up his alley. And at the end of the day, I'm probably going to read anything Kyle Higgins writes. So thumbs up. Tabitha.
You're happy, I'm happy. Those were just words to me.
Matt.
When we were at C2E2 after the panel, you showed me some of the art, like the what do you call it? The sketches for the character models, and these look super cool. I don't know that I would read this in a monthly, but this will be one of those things. Like I have read enough Radiant Black, and I have seen enough of Dan Moore's work to put them together in this kind of like, I don't know. I don't know anything about the Elseworlds, but like this alternate, system for these characters. I think it would be a fun ride. So thumbs up for this idea.
So while the film versions of Superman and the Fantastic Four will battle at the box office, DC is going to revisit a time when they teamed up. Superman Treasury 2025, Hero for All, will feature a reprint of the popular 1999 crossover where Superman and Fantastic Four teamed up to take on Galactus and Cyborg Superman. The oversized issue will also feature an all-new Superman story by Dan Jurgens and Bruno Renato. Superman Treasury 2025 will be released on July 2nd. I'm going to give this actually a thumb sideways. I love this. I'm here for it. This sounds amazing. Yes, I will buy it. However, and DC isn't, alone in this, but man, comic book companies sure do love to charge outrageous prices for things like this, so I can only imagine how much it's going to cost.
God, yeah.
Tam.
Yeah, the cost alone is making me consider my thumb. So sideways?
Matt.
Yeah, I'm also going to go sideways. I think this is kind of a cool, but at the same time, if you really want to, like, take it back, go in your Wayback Machine and do that DC Marvel amalgam where they were literally all together fighting all the other bad guys and working together. That was a fun run.
Finally, IDW is teaming with Webtoon to bring their stories to the scrolling digital comic platform. Starting on April 25th. I almost said November 25th for some ungodly reason. Webtoon will have reformatted versions of Godzilla Unnatural Disasters, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, and They Called Us Enemy, with more titles being announced in the near future. Definite thumbs up on this. While I will still probably always prefer a physical comic to a digital one, that is like, these, I call them, like comic streaming services. Not quite the same, but
yeah.
The same idea. These have definitely, I've been reading them more and more, and it just for the sheer, accessibility of it. And with some of these stories, especially They Called Us Enemy, which I haven't read yet. It's George Takei's memoir. But some of these stories are going to be stories that, like, hey, people need to read these. And if it's something that makes things more accessible, more power to them. And, as far as like webcomics, they have become very popular. So just kind of broadening that out, good for them. Tabitha.
I'm going to be super real with you. I'm dealing with a very dramatic situation on my phone right now. So yes, thumb sideways.
Matt.
What was the second one that you mentioned? Beneath the Trees.
Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees.
So I have been clued in on this because of somebody I follow on social media. This is like a cozy horror series that I have been meaning to read for a while now. I kind of was waiting for the 6th issue to come out so that I could read all 6 at once. Having them put out this way might spur me to read those a little bit sooner rather than later. I think you're right. I think some of these companies are getting a little bit better idea, harkening back to the old school comicsology days of how to stream comics digitally, and I think they're getting better at it. So thumbs up for being able to take some of those and making them more accessible.
Tabitha, are you ready to talk about Serendipity books, or should I come back to you?
Oh yeah, we can talk about Serendipity books. I have prepared speech for that. All right, so in Michigan, Chelsea, Michigan, sorry, A community formed a human chain to help a local bookshop move its 9,000 books, one by one, to their new storefront that was a block away from their old one. About 300 people stood in 2 lines running each side of the sidewalk on Sunday. They passed books from their former location to their new location just around the corner. News got out on social media and people just kept showing up. The endeavor to move the entire bookstore took just under 2 hours, much cheaper and faster than hiring a movie company to box and unbox the books. And they even put the books back on the shelves in alphabetical order. They are now going to be able to open in 2 weeks versus a month. The store is 60 miles west of Detroit. They've been there since 1997. It's a small town of 5,300 people. So, 300 people of your population showed up. That's just absolutely incredible. The owner, Casey Friss, just said that it was reminding her how special her small town and her community was and how important literacy is. What a feel-good story. Thumbs up. What a fun community. Also, I would be terrified to move books because I'd be like, what if I drop this new hardcover? I'm so clumsy. I would have dropped half the things that they handed to me.
Matt.
I think this is wonderful. This is one of those feel-good stories that every once in a while we absolutely need. A town coming together, helping a small business owner, keeping them open, being able that they can open sooner rather than later, saving the moving costs. Everything. It's all just fantastic and wonderful. I love pretty much everything about this, so thumbs up.
I'm giving this a thumbs up, and just know that what I'm about to say is a compliment. However, this is just a romantic subplot away from being a Hallmark original movie.
My God, it's a meet cute.
Can we write that? Let's shut down the podcast. You two aren't leaving here until we get this written. Between the 3 of us, I think we could get it written in 2 hours.
Shit, this is going to be a musical. It's got to be.
I need some note cards.
Well, while I'm grabbing those note cards, Matt, let's talk about Pringles.
Oh, Lord. So, Pringles... Oh, sorry. I almost threw up in my mouth just thinking about this.
Just Pringles in general?
No, just this story and the new flavors that they have coming out. They're teaming with Miller Lite for 2 limited edition chips for the summer. Beer can chicken and grilled beer brat. Side note, if I ever make beer can chicken or beer brats, it is absolutely not going to be with Miller Lite. Whatever. Yeah. First of its kind, iconic chips. They're going to be available in May. They're being described as the beer can chicken is deliciously combines the flavor of savory roasted chicken, complete with notes of garlic and onion and the authentic flavor of the original light beer. The beer brat has that smoky grilled brat flavor you know and love with notes of black pepper, caramelized onion, and brown spice. The authentic flavor of the original light beer comes through in a hoppy malt beer aroma. No. There's already weird enough flavors of Pringles. These are 2 we did not need, not even for summer. Thumbs down.
Yeah, in general, I'm kind of over the weird and wacky flavors of chips and just of stuff in general. Yeah, thumbs down. Now, if I find this in the wild and surprise y'all with it, am I going to make you try one on air? Maybe. But until then, no thank you. Tabitha.
I mean, I like beer with my fries, and I like beer and potatoes, and I don't know. It feels like you're flavoring a carb with a carb, though. These are my carb flavored carbs. Will I try it if Mitch buys it? Probably. Will I be happy about it? Probably not. Yeah, thumb sideways. I'm maintaining the decision to pass judgment after I try it.
So, Lindsay Lohan has signed on to star and executive produce a new series for Hulu. If it's picked up, it will be Lohan's first television leading role. The project is an adaptation of the 2025 novel Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. The adaptation will center on Sloane Caraway, a compulsive liar who ends up with her dream job as a nanny. However, the household is full of secrets that could lead to dire consequences if they are revealed. I'm going to give this a thumb sideways. I am fully on board with Lindsay's comeback. It's nice to see. And while this project sounds promising, and just kind of like from that description, I could see her playing that role. A, we need to see it get picked up first. B, at the end of the day, I would at least need a trailer or something. So, Tabitha.
Yeah, I feel like I need more info. Also, it's 2025. I don't know if I need pathological liars in my in my news, in my White House, and in my digital and like actual media. So maybe give it 4 years and see where we're at. I'm sideways.
4 years. That's optimistic of you.
I'm trying.
Matt.
Thumb sideways. I don't really have any interest in whatever this story is. I guess that's the thumbs down. The thumbs up is that Lindsay Lohan continues to crawl her way back into our lives out of obscurity and whatever drug den she had been in.
You leave her alone. She's making a very healthy comeback.
She
and
is,
I'm very
and
proud of
that's
her.
the thumbs up. The fact that I don't care about the story is a thumbs down, which equals to a thumb sideways. So,
when you did say crawl out, like my immediate thought was Lindsay Lohan as the girl from the.
Oh my God! Now I need to see that.
Yes,
I just found Mitch's cosplay from C2E2.
That is very obscure.
I mean, we did see Samara wandering around the show floor. So,
did you know in the Scary Movie version, I think it's Scary Movie 3 that the ring thing is in, her name is Tabitha?
Jesus.
That tracks.
Yeah, it sure does.
Matt, I meant to actually look at this story to see what the hell this is, but I didn't get around to it. Surprise, surprise. So, what the hell is Chicken Jockey?
So let me preface this by saying that I asked my 2 kids to explain Chicken Jockey before I posted this, and they don't have a good explanation either, and they both play Minecraft.
So it's not like cockfighting, is it?
No, it is not.
I know you meant chickens. But I was very concerned and confused for a very brief moment.
So long story short, too late, I know. There is a scene in the Minecraft movie where a zombie falls onto a chicken inside of a wrestling ring. As soon as that happens, Jack Black's character, Steve, in the movie yells, "Chicken Jockey." Apparently it's a thing in the Minecraft world where zombies will ride around on these chickens, and they call them chicken jockeys. Why this decided to be a moment in time in this movie, God only knows. The thing is that this has caused such an uproar in the theaters in the week, the original week of release, that security has been deployed in theaters all over the place, because people, the moment that this happens in the theaters, people are chucking, they're jumping up and screaming. They're throwing the arms in the air. They're throwing buckets of popcorn all over the place. They're wreaking absolute havoc in theaters all across the country. To the point where my kids went to go see this. There was security in the theater when they went to go see this movie because of the concern that that the reactions that people are having to this particular scene. As such, they are not necessarily re-releasing it, but as they're saying, embracing the chaos. One of the theater chains is going to have special showings, with the point being you can be loud, you can be obnoxious, you can yell, you can cheer, at this showing of the movie in hopes to rein in issues in other showings of the Minecraft movie. The fact that this even has to be a thing, it's getting a thumbs down. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. But you know what? Sit your ass down and behave in the theater. Like, it's absurd. Like, that shouldn't even be. You shouldn't have to have special showings. Like, this is not Wicked where you're having a sing-along version versus the regular showing. This is people wreaking absolute havoc, running around the theater screaming, throwing popcorn all over the place. That's inhuman and animalistic. Don't even do that. So the fact they're even doing this should have shut it down from the beginning. Thumbs down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thumbs down. I don't see this helping your problem at all.
Yep.
B, if I work at that movie theater, I am taking off whatever day that showing is. Because that's just insane. And yeah, like, y'all, those poor theater workers don't make enough to deal with that. Tabitha.
Who's throwing popcorn on the floor in this economy? Like, that was like a $30 box of popcorn. Like, what are you doing?
If you want, I will show you some of the pictures I've seen online. It's like a sea of popcorn. Like, the entire row is just a carpet of popcorn in some of these theaters.
Yeah, don't show me that. That will make me incredibly angry. But yeah, like, those people who work at, like, no one working minimum wage should have to clean up after another human in public because they don't know how to behave themselves. Thumbs down. People need to grow up.
Yeah.
Also, a sea of popcorn would be like salt water.
True.
Lumpy salt water.
Ew.
Yummy. Tabitha, you have our last two stories tonight. The first one is a happy Florida story?
Question mark?
So, I found the reason to go to Florida. It's a capybara cafe. In St. Augustine, Florida, there is now literally a place called a capybara cafe, where it's in the back of a real estate office building, by the way. It's what it sounds like. It's like a cat cafe, but with capybaras. They opened in October, and they've had hundreds and hundreds of guests come. Reservations are booked out months in advance for people who are traveling from all over the place to see this. The cost is $49 per person for a half hour and $99 for an hour-long encounter that involves other animals, not just the capybaras, because they do have other animals there. They're going to be opening another one. However, this one will also be in Florida, in St. Petersburg. There's no food, despite the fact that it is called a cafe. But they do sell capybara-themed T-shirts, coffee mugs, stuffed animals, etc. Originally, it was created to financially support the Hastings, Florida-based nonprofit Noah's Ark Sanctuary, which is an animal refuge. I will never set foot in Florida again, but I wish there was a capybara cafe somewhere other than Florida. Giant thumbs up for the capybara cafe.
Matt.
I'm thrilled that there's at least one now here in the United States, because I think the other one that's out or open is in Japan. Mm-hmm. It doesn't surprise me that there's other animals, because thanks to my 13-year-old, we know that capybaras have to live with other animals, otherwise they get sad.
That was not from your 13-year-old.
No?
That was me telling that to your 13-year-old.
Oh, was that the other way around? Oh, I thought that was the other way around. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Capybaras don't like to live by themselves because they like friends, and they like friends of other species, so they feel important and like they're being protective, even though they're just giant rats. Aww. Yeah, capybaras don't function well when there's no other creatures other than capybaras.
Same.
Other creatures other than humans, or other creatures other than Mitch's?
Yes.
So sorry for getting that backwards, but I think this is fun. I'm glad they're doing this. I'm glad that the profits seem to be going to a good place. So thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up. My only concern with this is how they've named it the Capybara Cafe, yet they don't sell any food. While I personally don't care, Especially with it being Florida, I can imagine there are a lot of people being like, well, where's my biscuit? Where's my food? People in Florida don't talk like that, but you know, it's
People in Florida can't read. Their education system, guys. Let's be real.
Yeah, you're right. Speaking of reading, Tabitha, you also have our last story of the night. Talk about a special way that a book was bound, and I'm already getting the heebies.
Okay, so I low-key kind of already knew about this murder case because of who I am as a human. So William Corder was convicted of killing Maria Martin in 1827. They have a book that has been located. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to word this without it sounding gross. Anyway,
I mean, there's no way.
I know. Okay, so in a museum's office, they located a book. The book tells the story of William Corder killing Maria Martin. He had been having an affair with him. He told her to meet him at the bar, or at this barn, saying that they're going to run away together. She got there, and he was like, oh, JK, shot her, killed her, whatever. He was publicly executed in 1828. His body was dissected, and the book that was written about the murder was bound in his flesh. It was put on display in the museum in 1933. And then they found out that there had been a second book that was also bound in his skin. And they were like, but where's that one at? And very recently, they found it in an office.
Oh,
Just chilling.
that's awkward.
So someone had just been working with a human flesh book on their bookshelves for a while and did not know it. Anyway, they found it next to books bound in, traditional materials. But, yeah, book 2 in the flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
If I had said that, I would have gotten ashamed.
It's true, but that's why you're not in charge of the shame bell.
Yeah, I dislike all of the words that you just said in the order in which you said them.
I mean, there are a fair amount of books and things that are made out of human flesh. We all know about the human flesh lampshade, right?
But that's not a book.
No, it's a lampshade that was on display in an SS officer's home, and it was made out of the flesh of a captive in a concentration camp. This is almost better because at least the guy was a murderer when they cut his skin off and not an innocent victim.
That's fair.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what a way to memorialize a book.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, originally when you started this, I thought he wrote this book about what he did,
And it was in her skin?
Yeah, that's what I was.
No, it's the skin of a killer, Bella. Like, Twilight. You guys know this is the skin of a killer, Bella. It's the skin of a killer, Bella.
Wow.
That
No.
really good joke was lost on YouTube, plebes. I need Not Seth to come back.
I was about to say, also, where's Lydia when you need her?
Yeah, Lydia and Not Seth. Leaving me hanging. That was a great joke. I'm going to call somebody and tell them about it.
Well, on that note, we should probably end this recording so Tabitha can make some phone calls as she pulls out her phone. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, it's me. So we're recording the podcast, and we were talking about this new book that has been discovered that is in the flesh of a...
That's going to do it for this episode of The Geek Awakens. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then shoot us an email at thegeekawakenspodcast@gmail.com.
It would be a shame if you didn't follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Geek Awakens Podcast or on Blue Sky at The Geek Awakens.
Music provided and created by E. Cannon Beats.
Logo created and designed by Shay McCain.
That's it for this week. We're boldly gone.